Hello out there. Welcome to another issue of the KPL weekly newsletter of Kale Pathology Laboratory. Guys, have you ever felt that there is too much information out there? There are too many medical papers which are published every year, and they are published in a statistical jargon which is difficult to understand. If you are like me, the answer is probably yes. Actually, there was a guy called John Nesbitt who once said that we are drowning in information but starved for knowledge. So, information, when added with comprehension, leads to knowledge. So, this podcast is about comprehending medical research papers. This is, in fact, in continuation with the previous topic that we discussed, which was how to write a medical research paper. Basically, there are three reasons why we go for reading the research paper. If we are a researcher, we would need idea for research. If we are practitioners, we would need to look at the papers in difficult cases for diagnosis, for therapy, for prognosis. And sometimes we would like to read more about particular topic or particular disease. Like we would like to have updates or overview about particular disease. These are the three primary reasons for which we check up PubMed or internet and look up medical research papers. Now, there are different research papers for these three purposes. If we want an idea for a research, we would need to look at original research articles, randomized control trials, controlled clinical trials, experimental studies, cohort studies, and case control studies. Second reason for looking at medical papers is diagnosis, therapy, and prognosis. For that, we'll need reviews, proceedings, and textbooks, and importantly, case series and case reports. Because that's how we would know that this thing has happened previously and this is how the patient behaved. Then we are more comfortable dealing with our own patients. Then sometimes we would need to read more about a particular disease that we are dealing with at the moment, and during such time we would need to look at narrative reviews, systematic reviews, and meta-analysis. Systematic reviews and meta-analysis combine data from number of research studies and make sense of the data as a whole. So they have bigger weightage compared to individual research papers. Now that we have come to know what paper to read, next thing is to look at the paper and look at particular areas so that it makes easy for us and it makes better sense for us. So once we have decided what research paper to read, next thing we need to concentrate is at the title of the research paper and keywords. We need to ask ourselves one question: is the title related to the topic that I am looking for? Does it have the keywords which I have in mind? If the answer is no, then we have to skip that article and go to the next article. But if the title of the paper is related to the topic that was in our mind, or it has keywords which we had in our mind, then we have to read abstract, summary, and conclusion. That would give us some idea about aims and objectives, some idea about research hypothesis, some idea about conclusions. Then we will need to ask three questions: were the aims and objectives clear cut? Was research hypothesis well defined? Were the conclusions precise? Based on reading this abstract, summary, and conclusion, we should be able to answer the question: is this useful or relevant to what I am looking for? If yes, we have to read the whole article. So this is how we can start with an article. Once we decide that we want to read this particular article, then there are few sections which are somewhat tough, not easy to read, and these three sections include the results, discussion, and conclusion. So what we should look for in results? Of course, we would be interested in key findings. We would be interested in whether all the subjects present in the beginning of the study were accounted for at the end of the study, or there were any dropouts or something. Are the results reliable? Are the results valid? Are the results statistically significant or not significant? And tables and graphs were easy to comprehend or not? So these are the things which we should be looking at when we are looking at the results section. Now coming to discussion section. Discussion section should be able to answer whether the results answer the research question. Whether the results answer the research question. What were the author's interpretation of the results or the data? What were the author's comment about it? Was the analysis of the data relevant to the research question? How were the results different or similar when compared to other studies? If they were similar, then it validates the previous studies. But if the results were different, then what could be the cause of it? Whether the authors have commented about it. What were the strengths of the study? The number of patients included, the statistical analysis, robustness of materials and methods, all these things will be strengths of the study. What were the limitations of the study? Was it limited to particular area, urban or rural? What kind of population was included? That could be the limitation of the study. And we should also check whether there were any extrapolations of the findings beyond the range of the data. I think that should not be there. Means extrapolation should be based on the data only. Means you cannot extrapolate something about which we do not have data, right? So sometimes that we have to keep in mind. So this was the discussion section where authors discuss their result, compared their results with the other studies, and strengths and limitations of the study were also discussed. So after this we come to the last section, that is the conclusion. What were the conclusions based on these results and discussion? Were the author's conclusions based upon reported data and analysis? Were the conclusions reasonable and logical? Will the results be useful in clinical practice or further research? So this is the most important question. So we started reading article because we had some question in mind, and results should be able to answer that particular question, and results should be useful to solve that question. So that's where this important thing comes, that will the results be useful in clinical practice? And of course you can also decide whether study was worth doing or it was just sham, kuch nahi tha. Does the reader have any questions unanswered by the articles? Once we understand these questions, we are in a better position to understand the article and apply it to the question that we had in our mind. Hope this was useful and interesting. This is Sachin Kale signing off the KPL Weekly Podcast. Thank you and see you again next week. Bye.